We are so back when it comes to the hype in 2025 with Nintendo because the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and the Treehouse are going to be bumping this week very soon here, and I'm going to be breaking down all the latest information for you guys that Nintendo has revealed when it comes to the length of the show, in addition to the Treehouse, which was newly announced, and of course my plans for everything. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch 2. That it says, join us tomorrow, April 2nd at 6 a.m. PT for a closer look at Nintendo Switch 2. The Nintendo Direct Nintendo Switch 2 4/2 2025 live stream will be approximately 60 minutes long. So this is a massive Nintendo Direct. This is huge. One of the biggest Nintendo Directs of all time when it comes to the time or length. Now, if you want to do a comparison to the Nintendo Switch 2017 presentation, that was a hybrid Nintendo Direct / E3 live stage presentation thing. It was kind of weird. Nintendo just kind of combined them together, and it was pretty good. There was some goofs that happened with Super 51 and him going off script, messed up the translator, but overall it was a good event. But when you do stuff live, you have to take little time here and there to kind of transition from one person talking to the next and other things. With the Nintendo Direct being 60 minutes long approximately, so it's probably going to go a little bit over, you know that there's going to be packed full of awesome content overall, and since it's a Direct, it's going to be edited. I don't think it's going to be the hybrid live stage show / Nintendo Direct like a presentation would be. This is going to be a Nintendo Direct through in and throughout, but it's going to be interesting to see how they present the information, how they edit it, and who they have talking when it comes down to it. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch 2 is a long time coming. It's been almost a decade since the release of the Nintendo Switch 1, 8 years plus at this point, and this system has revolutionized in many ways the gaming market when it comes to the hybrid type of concept. We've seen numerous other companies say, hey, look, we want to make our own hybrid or get into portable gaming as well. And it's just been awesome to see overall. Nintendo Directs have also revolutionized the industry. A lot of companies have copied that format of having Nintendo Direct style presentations and giving information directly to the fans instead of waiting for some type of event or trade show or something in order to announce their games. So I think that it's all been good. Everything wasn't smooth sailing when it comes to the Nintendo Switch over the last 8 years or so, but nothing ever is. That's part of what makes it super fun. And what makes this fun is that this Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is going to be beefy, full of games. Remember, with the Nintendo Switch 1, look how many bangers were announced at that event. We had Super Mario Odyssey, we had Shin Megami Tensei 5, we had Octopath Traveler, the original one there, we had Splatoon 2, we had ARMS, we had all sorts of stuff that was revealed at that event, and even Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So yeah, there is a high chance that there's going to be a lot of big games announced, some maybe new IPs, and of course, those staple big games that we love, like Mario Kart and the next 3D Mario. There's so many things that could happen. Now, I did do a predictions video. If you want to watch my predictions video, I'll have a link for you guys in the description below. You can check that out. But I do want to go over some last minute predictions for this because I didn't have that in my video that I did. So let's talk about the release date and the price. Well, I think I talked about the release date. I do feel that it's going to be June, maybe first half June 2025. I think that they want to have that system out for summer. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of kids. There's going to be a lot of high school students and people just in general taking time off. That would be a great time to launch the Nintendo Switch 2. We saw before that Nintendo's had success launching the system in the first half or so of the year and then making sure that they have enough stock or at least supply things to where you don't have those stock issues and shortages during the holiday. Nothing worse than trying to say, hey, look, big system for the holiday and then not being able to get it ready for Christmas. That's unfortunate, but I think that if you launch it right now, and even if there's stock issues situated and settled by the time that the holiday season comes around, and a lot of people are going to be jumping into the Nintendo Switch 2, I can see Nintendo having a record-breaking holiday season if they have the stock and everything, which I do think that they will. I think that Nintendo has been stockpiling Nintendo Switch 2 units and has been getting ready just for this moment. Shuntaro Furukawa, he does not play around. He's a no-nonsense type of guy. You're going to see him busting it at every single type of time that he can to make sure this system is successful, as he is going to be looked at as the person who's behind the success or failure of this, with him being at the top. So it's going to be a lot on him, but I do think that he has a lot of good people around him, like Koizumi-san and Takahashi. These guys know what they're doing. They helped launch the Nintendo Switch 1 to great success, so I think that they're going to replicate that with the Nintendo Switch 2. And it all starts with the awesome games that are going to be available. And while the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is hype, what's even going to be more hype are all the people that hit that subscribe button that are not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop, as obviously I'm going to be streaming and doing a bunch of cool stuff with the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and the upcoming Nintendo Switch Treehouse. So Nintendo actually put this out on Twitter stating that join us on April 3rd and April 4th at 7 a.m. PT each day for a Nintendo Treehouse live Nintendo Switch 2 presentation featuring hands-on gameplay of Nintendo Switch 2 games. So people are going to be really excited for that. Treehouse has always been awesome. They've done some great stuff when it comes to E3 Treehouse and other random treehouses here and there. It's always been a great time, so I can't wait for that. I'm going to be streaming the Treehouse as well. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming like the whole thing. I don't know how long they're going to be going for it and all of that. Usually Treehouse takes up all day, so I will be streaming some of it at least. So look out for that, guys. There's going to be a ton of coverage overall, but I kind of wanted to get into what the Nintendo Switch generation meant for me just briefly. I'm going to have a separate video where I kind of go in depth into it when it comes to the different games and what's been happening and stuff. But for me, the Nintendo Switch was such a revolution in the industry when it comes to what I did, the work that I did on here. Obviously, the Wii U was not very successful. The Nintendo 3DS was successful, but it was hard to really kind of get hyped for the 3DS when it comes to creating content for that system because of how you capture footage and because of how the games looked. There was just an issue overall, a disconnect that I think that a lot of the fans in the modern age of creating content saw, because not everybody did have those 3DS capture cards, and it was a little bit weird, and it wasn't set up normally like a normal home console, like with HDMI and all of that. So when Nintendo moved over to this hybrid system to where you can get the aspects, or you can get the fun of having a portable system, playing a game anywhere that you want, in addition to getting the home console experience, which comes with being able to hook it up to a capture card normally, being able to cover it in certain types of ways, being able to have those big games that did focus a little bit more on the visuals overall. Obviously not the best visuals compared to PlayStation and Xbox, but way better than what we saw with the Nintendo 3DS and any other portable system Nintendo's ever had before. I think that is what really clicked. That was the spark. It was like the snap that really got people thinking, okay, this was going to be special, especially when we saw stuff like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That was a tough time in my life. I had just lost my day job that I was doing. I was set up to get a huge raise and everything, and I lost my job right before then. So The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild helped kind of cure me out of a potential depression. It helped lift up everything, and I think it helped set good vibes and tone for the generation. We knew that that game was special. The first minute you booted it up and you walked out there and you saw the Great Plateau and everything, you knew this was going to be a special journey, that it was going to be an incredible ride. And that's what the Nintendo Switch life was throughout the whole thing. It was an incredible ride. When the Nintendo Switch first launched, I think it was at maybe 20,000 or 30,000. I'm not really sure exactly where I was at, but either way, I know it wasn't the 100K that we have now at this point. So the fact that we're able to grow that much, almost 10 times or however many times the amount, was just awesome. And that was because the Nintendo Switch had so many bangers throughout the years when it comes to Astral Chain, Xenoblade games, Fire Emblem, and so many more titles from Nintendo, Super Smash Brothers, and more. There were so many games to really talk about, get excited about, create content on. It was just so awesome overall, and being able to stave off some pretty bad times overall. Even 2018, there was a lot of issues that I had in 2018 as well, but man, throughout the community with you guys building this, in addition to having the Nintendo Switch and games to play, it was still super fun, and we were able to get through it. A lot of you guys are also going through or went through hard times throughout this, and we all kind of grew together overall. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody who watches and all that, man. So with the Nintendo Switch 2, I think we can start a new journey. My life is so much better heading into this one, and I'm hoping you guys have also improved and gotten better, or things will get better heading into the Nintendo Switch 2 generation. And I even think that games like Xenoblade Chronicles X, for example, that came out at the end, just made it a awesome start and finish. Starting with Zelda, ending with Xenoblade Chronicles X before we see officially what the Nintendo Switch 2 is about and the games. That is perfect. I couldn't have drawn it up any better myself overall. It's just so great in terms of things. Like I said, not perfect. There were some bumps along the road over these 8 years or so. But man, not only did we get through it, we got through it, and we're even better for it. So this is going to be awesome. I can't wait for the Treehouse. I can't wait to see what games that they have. And once again, if you want to see my predictions, I have a predictions show that I did, or predictions video, and that'll be linked in the description below. So if you want to see my predictions, it's there. I do want to go over a couple last minute or things that maybe I didn't put in there. I do think that the system's going to be $399. I think I said June before, but if I didn't, June. And $399, that's the price that I'm going with. Nintendo might have 2 SKUs for it, but we'll have to wait and see. Some people have asked about a digital only unit. I don't think so. I think they're going to try to push making sure that everybody has access to their physical games that has every single unit, even though they're doing some different things like with digital titles. So I don't think there's going to be that, but $399 is going to be the base standard price. Maybe there is a higher end model that comes with the game, or maybe it comes with something else. I'm not really sure, but I don't think they're going to do the 2-tiered model after what happened with the Wii U. I think they're going to just say, okay, 1 model for right now. And then later down the road, there'll probably be a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, or Nintendo Switch 2 OLED, or something like that. So I do see them improving it. And I do think down the road, there's probably going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro. And I know, Pro, I get that, guys. But I do think that Nintendo will do that. They usually do that with their handheld portable devices. We've seen it with the new Nintendo 3DS. We saw it with the DSi. We saw it to a different degree with the Game Boy Color, where they do enhance the specs and have some games that can only be played on that system or run a bit better. So I do think that that will be an option down the road as well, but that's down the road. We got to worry about what's happening right now. And the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, in addition to the Nintendo Treehouse, is going to be rocking overall. So yeah, I will be streaming both events, guys. But remember, just in case if you forgot, it's going to be April 2nd at 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll be going live multiple hours before. So like I said, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell to know when I'm dropping that live stream and the heat and the videos that are going to be coming in the coming days, because there's going to be a lot of titles announced here. So what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.